Yeah, we started the church at 4th of July, 1999. We just got married in 1998. And we have our firstborn 3 months old. And it's been 27 years. But probably the most significant thing that I can share to the people here at Hillsong Conference is that right before I started the church, I felt like the Lord spoke to me. Now it's easy now to say it, but back then I thought it was the devil. Because the impression that I had is, Jeffrey, I don't want you to collect offering. So
you're going to plant a church, and the Lord's saying, don't collect an offering.
Yeah, don't collect an offering.
Yeah,
So I thought it was the devil.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I didn't have any business people who supported me, and we were just a bunch of young people that just started a family, started having careers, started having business. So I shared with the team that I have at that moment, and they all agreed. And I said, it's easy for you to agree because you all have source of income. But
you've given up your job to do this.
I've given up my job to do this. But, and I also didn't have any church to look up to. You know, I couldn't ask anyone because I didn't know anyone who did that at that moment. But because all of us were agree, so we did it. I'm not saying that collecting offering was wrong, but for us, that's the assignment. So from that very moment, we survived the first day, the first Sunday.
First Sunday. You could go again next Sunday.
So what we did is that we put up a box. We said that if you want to give offering, just put it in the box. I survived the first Sunday, then I survived the next Sunday, and the next Sunday, and until now. Never lack of anything.
And if you've seen their church in Jakarta, it is more than surviving. It is thriving, and I have to say they are some of the most generous people you'll ever come across in the way that they sow into other churches and other ministries. I want to ask a question related to that now that we're talking about that. What do you think is a revelation or an understanding you've had about how God provides that maybe some of us struggle with? Because it seems to come easy to you. It may not be, but you seem to have a very relaxed approach about God's going to do this and everything will be fine.
Not at first, though.
Right.
The first 5 years was very intense. We sacrificed a lot. But you know what? The Bible says Jesus taught in Matthew chapter 6 that you cannot serve two masters. And then I got a revelation about that. I think the first test to his disciple was when they were sent 2 by 2, like I said yesterday. Don't bring any bread or money or anything else. And they survive. But then, leading up to that, was the miracle of feeding the 5,000s. It's funny if you read it carefully. Jesus says to all his disciples, when they came approach him, said, it's getting late, send them back home. And Jesus says, you give them something to eat. So he didn't say, I want to give them something to eat. He says, you give them something to eat. And immediately, one of them, Philip, says, yeah.
He's a good guy.
200 denarii is not enough, even though all of them have very little. But to cut the long story short, they all get fed with 12 baskets left over full. And Jesus didn't touch the money whatsoever. So I began to understand that as I live it, if you serve God faithfully and have faith, there is a certain level of existence, if I might say, that you never know exists unless you serve Him faithfully and have faith. There is a certain level of existence that you never know exists. But if you have faith in God, He will show you that you can actually fulfill His plan, even though you have very little in your hand.
And I've seen that you guys have lived by that
Yeah.
and according to that.
Yeah.